going and get it. And literally, my truck stopped, stuck right there in front of East Point. And I had to get a ride home and got to get my truck towed. But that's all right, though, because rain, sleet, hail, snow. It's 6:30. We ready to go. Dr. Osiris Carter. And so I'm sorry, y'all, but I really don't apologize because that song, you have to listen to the lyrics. And some will win, some will lose, but we will not stop believing. And we had a tour last week at the E911 Center. Thank you to Williams Bluff. Thank you to the sisters who called out that call. And this is a direct response to that as we're taking 30 days. But we're going to talk a little bit further about it, but no further ado. Dr. Osiris Carter, you're here.
Yes, sir. I'm glad
to talk about the E911 system, sir, that we visited, and share and all questions, rapid fire. He can handle it as we have got to, and he's going to tell us in the end how he rectified a situation that was made aware that Ms. Mapp brought to our attention. So no further ado, Dr. Osiris Carter, E911, Fulton County. You have the mic, sir.
Okay, well, I just want to first of all say good evening to everybody. I appreciate you guys having me on. I also want to say thank you to the councilman for coming down to the center last week. We had a good time, and I believe that he was able to see a different side of 911, something that he had never seen before. And I highly urge everybody who wants to come down to take a visit to 911, that is possible, and it's possible through several different ways. The first way is, of course, the city of South Fulton is located within Fulton County. Fulton County every year, except for the past 2 years, but it has been put back on the schedule for this year. But every year have what they call Citizens University. The beautiful thing about Citizens University is that it allows you to tour every single department that your county tax dollars are going towards. You get to tour marshals, the sheriff, you get to tour 911, you get to tour the tax office. So every single department that the county has, you get to tour those departments. You get to see exactly what those people do. You get to ask questions face to face, because being on the Zoom meeting versus being face to face, as the councilman can tell you, is a whole different ballgame. So Citizens University is the first way that you can do it. City of South Fulton also has a Citizens University of sorts as well. So it's comprehensive on the City of South Fulton. So you can also tour the 911 center that way. You can also tour the 911 center at specific times when available, but you can call and make those appointments to come down and tour it. There is one piece of paperwork that you have to fill out, because we do handle very sensitive information, especially personal sensitive information, and we can't have that information getting out. So we do have to sign a specific waiver for that to happen. Outside of that, learning about 911, if you don't want to come down, once we get done with this conversation, I will provide everybody with my phone number as well as my email. And if you guys ever have any questions, or there's something that is just not going on that you feel should be going on, then you can always reach out to me and my counterpart. Sometimes I may forward you over to him, Mr. Lamont Reed. He's over operations. I'm currently over training. But at any rate, you can reach out to us, and we will try to get your issues handled post-haste. Now, please understand that sometimes, and a lot of those times, but not all the time, but sometimes some of these issues that are brought up are not really on the 911 level for us to handle. A lot of times people think because most 911 centers are under a police department or governed by a police department. We used to be, but we no longer are. We're a standalone entity. So we don't have the same jurisprudence or things like that a lot of 911 centers have. So a lot of times we may have to refer you back to PD, or we may have to refer you over to the fire department, or we may have to refer you somewhere else, because they just may not be an issue that we can handle for you. But you can rest assured that if you do reach out to one of us, we will get back to you post-haste. So that'll be the third way, or the fourth way. I can't remember so many ways, but that'll be another way that you can learn about 911. This call, we used to, before COVID hit, we used to go out to any NPU meetings that we were invited to, and we would get up and we would speak to the persons that were in attendance there and answer any questions in person. So we do have a team that does that, called our public education team. So we have a team that will come out. We have flyers and brochures that we give out as well. And we also, during those times, urge everybody, if you haven't, please sign up for Everbridge notifications. Now, there's a countywide notification system that everybody can have access to. And if you call me or email me directly, I can give you more information about how to sign up for that. And again, it's just a countywide notification system. So if something happens, messages will be sent out, broadcast, and we can broadcast it out to specific areas and things of that nature as well. So again, another avenue that you can remain in contact and remain in the know about 911 and what's going on in emergency services. Just to tell you a little bit about our department specifically, we actually are one of the largest, if not the largest, consolidated center in the southeastern United States. We serve 17 different agencies. Of those 17 different agencies, we dispatch for police, fire, and medical for 5 cities that are located in the southern part of Fulton County. City of South Fulton being the biggest stakeholder. We dispatch for police, fire, and medical services within the City of South Fulton. Outside of that, the other agencies that we have are basically extensions of the county. So we're talking the Sheriff's Department, Marshal's Department, all the way up to Animal Control. So we dispatch for all of those agencies as well. We currently take about between 500,000 and 750,000 calls per year. That's total calls per year. The majority of those are going to be more specifically police calls, but we do take a huge number of fire EMS calls as well. I think that's about it for my spiel. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No question, but a compliment to all the work you guys do. Who would have thought you'd have that many calls? And so thank you guys for all your hard work and service.
Yeah, and that's no problem. That's what we're here for, ma'am. And just to take it a little further, imagine that there are only, on a maximum, there are only about 5 or 6 people taking those calls per shift. So at any given time, we have about 5 or 6 people taking those calls. So as soon as one call hangs up, there's another call in the ear. And I got to mention that we also do dispatch for Fulton County Schools Police. So if any of you guys have children that go to any school within Fulton County, we do dispatch for that service as well. And just so you guys know, I don't know if you guys know or not, but if you have elementary school children, those are the only schools that will not have an SRO physically on site. They do have an SRO that's attached to them, but they're usually attached to the middle school, and the middle school SRO, if need be, will respond over to the elementary school. But if you have any questions about that as well, at any time, like I said, you guys can give me a call, shoot me an email. Now, I am in and out of class. Because we have 2 training classes going on right now, trying to bolster the numbers up in the communication center. So we've got 2 training classes going on right now with a total of 12 different people. Some have experience, so they'll be dispatchers coming out. Some don't have experience, so they'll start off as call takers. I did mention, and I'm sorry, I'll go back to my spiel. I did see that on the flyer, there were some questions about actually how 911 works. The one thing that I will say is, and I make fun of my mom all the time, but it is true. If you have a landline, you are good. I know landlines seem to be a lot more antiquated these days because everybody has a cell phone. If not one, I've got 2. But if everybody has a cell phone, then they don't feel the need for a landline. But landlines are the only way, and I'll say this again, landlines are the only way that we can determine exactly where you are, because those lines are hardwired. Those lines are hardwired with an address attached to them. So those are going to be the only way that we can know exactly where you are if you dial 911. Otherwise, if you dial 911, your cell phone signal will bounce off of a tower. And if you've lived in City of South Fulton for any amount of time, you know that that area is a little jumbled up with several different jurisdictions. We got Union City, you got Fairburn, You got City of Atlanta, College Park, so it kind of goes in and out. So you may bounce off of a cell tower and you may hit an Atlanta cell tower and it may take you to the City of Atlanta 911, or it may take you to Fayette County 911, depending on where you are. So the cell phone will bounce off of the closest tower, and sometimes you may have to get transferred, right? Sometimes you may have to get transferred. So even if you're calling 911 from inside of your home, it may bounce off of the cell tower because you may live on the border between South Fulton and Union City. But if you call from your landline, you'll get the exact place because it's set up that way. That's you. If you look at your phone bill, you do pay 911 taxes if you have a landline. Some cell phone companies make you pay 911 taxes as well, right? So just be mindful of that. If you have a landline, you get thumbs up. Those of us that don't have a landline, I don't have one in my home, so I'm one to talk, right? But the landlines are the only way that we can know exactly where you are if you're dialing 911. Otherwise, there will be an interrogation sequence from the people that are taking those calls to make sure that they have your location specific. City of South Fulton is growing, so there are new streets coming in. Not every day, but there are new streets coming in, and sometimes those streets don't get to the county. Please, please, please don't be mad at 911. A lot of times that's out of our control because we have no way of knowing that those new streets come out, and that's part of the county GIS system. And those people have a ton of stuff to do over there as well. So sometimes it takes that process to be processed, if you will, a little bit longer. So they work on it. They're getting to it as soon as possible. But you can always put pressure on your councilman to make sure it happens. No, I'm joking. But you can always, at any time, check and see, especially if you live on one of those newer streets, you can always, I would just consistently call to make sure that thing is updated. Because at times we get new streets, and on the 911 side, we're not familiar with that street. Doesn't jive with our computer-aided dispatch system, and it may get a little hairy trying to find out where you are. So especially if you're on those newer streets, you want to stay on the county planning, zoning, all those people to make sure that they get those addresses updated in their system. And what happens is they push those address updates and street updates directly to our system. So at times that may be a reason for a delay as well. I'm not sure if the subdivision in question that we're talking about has those issues, but that may be an issue as well. Now, I think I'm done for real.
Dr. Osiris, I tell you, I certainly appreciate your time.
Okay.
A constituent had an issue, and we had an in conversation. And was there a resolve in that situation, sir?
Yes. So right now I still have the audio being pulled. I had a couple of people out last week, so I have the audio being pulled because I have to have a specific type of audio pulled so I can make sure I listen to every call. Because I don't know if you remember, but I think we found about 5 or 6 different calls. As I was looking through the text of those calls after we hung up, forgive me, I don't remember the lady's name, but after we hung up, I actually found 2 more calls that was associated with the incident that we were talking about. So I have that audio being pulled. I have the CAD reports being pulled, and my counterpart who's over operations, he'll be speaking with those persons that actually took the initial calls that we talked about, Councilman. So if you give me about another 3 or 4 days, I can have a definite resolution for you.
Hey, get this. We know you own it, and so that's all that's what really counts. So we have questions in the queue.
Let's go. Get it.
Yeah, Tamiko, as in the order they was given.
Ms. Lewis.
Hi, thank you, and thanks for all that you do. I've used the 911 service before, and all of my responses have been prompt, and I appreciate that. But I have a question more so about, you mentioned that you all dispatch for animal control. What are the rules right now as far as, and who sets them as far as if there's a dog that is running loose and maybe chasing residents or chasing kids? When we call, we've been told that, well, we're not picking them up right now because of COVID. So where are those rules set and when will they actually change? Because my mother was actually calling, reporting a dog. She's elderly. And each time they would come home, they couldn't get out of their car because there was a dog in the neighborhood that was actually aggressive and chasing them, and no one would pick it up.
So those rules are set by the animal control director. And I can give you a little bit of insight as to that. So what happens is and let's just use round numbers for instance. There's a little bit more, but we'll use round numbers. Let's just say we have 10 different animal control signals. We've got 3 that are priority, that are right now, let's go. And then we have some that are lower in a response time that is mandated. And again, that's mandated by the animal control director. Now, in the instance that you're talking about, that should have been a higher priority call, especially if those dogs are vicious and those dogs are actually chasing children, elderly, whatever the case may be. So that call should have been triaged as a higher priority call to get those units out post haste. One thing that I do want to say before I ask you if I answer that question is I definitely want everybody to know that if there's a situation, the best thing to do is take you some notes, because there's no way, well, there is a way, but it will be a long, drawn out way for us to research things if we don't have specifics. It's better to have specifics, times, phone numbers that you called from, the person that you spoke with. You can always ask the 911 operator, hey, what's your name or number? They will give you an operator number. It'll be a 4-digit number, maybe a 1500, 1400, 1300. For instance, my operator number is 1364. So they will give you that. That'll be all that we need to do any kind of research to make sure that if we did, in fact, drop the ball, we don't drop the ball again. But to answer your question, the director of animal control makes makes the requirements of how they respond. Now, as of recently, they've had some issues with staffing. So some of the response time is definitely affected by, there are times where there's only one animal control officer on duty. So a lot of that is affected by staffing at times as well, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Miller-Mapp.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Carter, for coming to and talking to us. You mentioned earlier, as you were talking about the 911 center, that folks with landline phones, kudos to them. But most of us do not have landline phones, and I think that's probably going to be more so the case, that people are operating with cell phones. And last week, or 2 weeks ago, when Chief Meadows was in this meeting with us, he said that City of South Fulton was paying additional funds to get, I guess, additional services, electronic services or digital services, so that Fulton County can enhance the service to us because of the cellular world that we live in. And he also admitted that there's some infrastructure that has to be built in and built up into the city of South Fulton to fully accommodate cellular service. That's the world we live in now, so we do need that kind of coverage. But given that we do have cellular users, and that's who we are, what can be done in how you operate to recognize the fact that that is how we live? And when we have emergencies like the one that occurred on May 5th with a person shooting, that we don't allow the fact that phone calls are pinging off of different cell towers and our calls are being routed to different zones or whatever you want to call it. How do we accommodate the fact that there is a serious emergency going on and we still need to get the proper authorities to that emergency?
So that's going to be a multifaceted response. So the first thing is the first thing I would suggest is that you guys talk to your council about maybe getting more cell towers within the city. For security reasons, I can't tell you exactly where they are, but there are 2 cell phone towers within the city. More cell phone towers means more reception where you are, a clearer reception where you are. But that's just one suggestion. Now, we all know that is definitely going to come with a cost, and that cost is going to come to the taxpayers. Now, let me get to what you were saying. When the councilman came down in reference to the event that happened on May 5th, what we did determine was that the biggest issue, and correct me if I'm wrong, Councilman, but the biggest issue in that thing was that the police presence wasn't seen in a swift enough manner. And this
Correct.
Again goes back to resources. Right now, the city is doing their best to increase police presence, and Chief Meadows has done several different things to increase police presence in those areas that need be. But there's still more work to do. And again, that, of course, as you know, would come at a higher cost as well. Now, as far as the comment Chief Meadows made about the extra money that you guys are paying for, I can't speak on that, but what I can tell you from a 911 perspective is that right now we have a radio system upgrade planned within the next month or so. We've already, and I don't know if anybody on the line is aware, but we've already began our shift, if you will, towards what we call Next Generation 911. And Next Generation 911 is doing exactly what you're talking about, ma'am. It's taking advantage of the fact that we are living in a digital age. Those landlines are analog, most of them, hardwired, and we are living in a digital age. So one of the ways that we can use those resources is we now have text to 911. Not sure if any of you guys know that, but we now have text to 911. And there'll be some more integrations of technology within it. But as far as rectifying any issues with cell service and bouncing off of cell towers, the biggest thing that the city of South Fulton can do is add some more cell towers within the city. That would mean dedicated routing to the PSAP, and that's the public safety answering port, but that would mean dedicated routing to the PSAP that the city sits in, as opposed to bouncing off of other towers. But that a lot of the answers to your questions, ma'am, to be honest, are political answers, and those would reside outside of my area of jurisprudence.
I understand that. And actually, I wanted that question and your response into the record for Council Reeves, so that we can continue that conversation. It is important, but the resources do have to be properly spent and directed where they need be.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. And one thing, go ahead.
Did I answer your question, ma'am? I'm sorry.
Is that Dr. Carter?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
So get this. Check this out, y'all. I don't even know how to be political, as I do know one thing: you can't do anything until you feel safe. So for me, that is the number one objective. So there is no amount of money that can be spent on ensuring our constituency feel safe. People who want to bring the things that the constituency want need a place where their workers are going to feel safe, an environment where the business can thrive. I don't have to spell that out. That shouldn't even be political. That should be a number one priority. As the one thing I said is coming in, I said, we'll have a safe and clean city. And working on both, it is a working process. But understand, it's priority number one. There's no doubt about it. So, next question. Dr. Osiris is here. And let me just say this, as I encourage everyone, if you can, to go take that tour and just go see it for yourself. Very unique. And hey, get this, and we do have somebody from the 5th who works down there. So we all have a direct connection, and they do work hard. And with what they have, and we do the
Hello,
best.
hey, did I drop off?
No, you didn't. You still on. And so we do the best we can with the resources we have. And I do understand we need more. But I'm going to keep pushing this issue, but I'm one, let's count the 3. Advocate who's on this phone, advocate, because this is a direct result of Ms. Mapp, you and the other person, the other young lady who brought this to our attention. And understand
I'm
that,
sorry.
we, and get this, as Dr. Carter said, and we don't necessarily have the resources to get our own right now, but what we can do is get those standalone so we can have dedicated cell towers. Because I don't have a home phone, just like I just have cell phone. And so they would need to have that in response. So that is something that we can work towards, and that is a goal. And so we just gonna plant the seed and keep watering it. And let it go. So, next question. Anybody else got a question? We are
Ms.
here.
Harvey.
Hi, Dr. Carter. I'm in the same neighborhood as Mrs. Miller Mapp, and regarding that incident, I did submit a statement to Chief Meadows as he advised when we spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. But my question is, since Fulton County is servicing so many other areas, would it be advisable if we state, I need South Fulton Police Department, and that way all this rigmarole and being transferred here and there, would that possibly eliminate it if I specifically say I need South Fulton Police Department?
The only time it's going to behoove you to say that is if there's a problem with the address that you're giving. The system is designed to recognize addresses, businesses, and cross streets. So if you're not familiar with where you are, 2 cross streets. But the only time that you saying that you need City of South Fulton Police directly is gonna help the situation is if there's a problem with your address. If there's no problem with your address, it's gonna automatically electronically route to the correct dispatcher. That makes sense.
Okay, because I know my husband, when that incident occurred on May the 5th, my husband had called and had gotten transferred a couple of times. That's why I was asking, that's why I was posed that question, because he did get transferred a couple of times.
So when he called in, did the operator have, to your knowledge, did the operator have any trouble finding the address that he was giving them?
No, she didn't have any trouble finding it, but he was transferred a couple of times. And I mean, it was just, that's why I was asking, because I'm saying it, I understand what you're saying if the address isn't a problem, but the call was still being transferred back and forth.
So what I want you to do is once I let you guys have the rest of the meeting, I want you to specifically email me in the morning. You don't have to do it tonight, because we should be watching the Heat lose. No, I'm messing with you. But email me in the morning with some specifics so I can take a look at exactly what happened. Because if there was no issue with the address, there's no way your husband has been getting transferred.
Okay.
I guess what I'm shorthand, the person that answered the phone should have been able to handle that call if there was no problem with the address. But I can't say for sure until I'm able to actually look at it and research it by listening to the playback. I'm sorry, the playback is just the recording. By listening to the recording and seeing exactly what happened. But I do want to look into that for you. That's why I'm saying I want you to email me in the morning so I can look specifically into that for you.
Can you
Okay.
put your email in the chat, and then Ms. Noble has the next question.
I just
Okay.
had a question about the phone towers or towers. Wouldn't that be something that you could petition to the governor? Because that's a very expensive thing to do for just a small town such as South Fulton. Wouldn't that be something the governor would be taking care of?
Now that, ma'am, I could not tell you. I'm not familiar with the process. I do know that there are some cities that fund their own. There are now, and I don't know if you are aware of this as well, but cell phone towers can be a moneymaker. Because as soon as you put a cell phone tower up, Verizon is going to call you, Sprint is going to call you. All of these people are going to call you wanting to put receptors on that tower. So it can be a moneymaker, but you are absolutely correct. It is a cost prohibitive endeavor, but unfortunately, I could not tell you what an alternative source of funding for those would be.
As many people can really kind of look at that and see that as an investment in our safety, as we're investing in something that is earning as well. That's a key fact. So, next question.
Mr. Durden?
And thank you, Ms. Harvey, as well for addressing that as though ensure that we have your number.
I couldn't unmute myself fast enough.
No, that's fine.
It is
That's fine.
Congressman
But you're here
Reed. How
now.
are you today?
Best day of my life.
doing well. How about
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Do you have a question?
All right, thank you very much. All right, greetings, Congressman Reed. Thank you for doing these calls on a weekly basis. Now, I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time about how angry I am about that situation that you know all too well. But I am asking for you to give me your final take on the issue with the ditch behind my property. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you would, I need you to tell me what your final take is so that I can move on to the next step.
I'm getting ready to head over there, Mr. Durden.
Can you hold that
question
until we get through our guest speaker?
I'm sorry, two people were talking.
I said, can you hold that question until we get through our guest speaker?
And I was saying I'm getting ready to head over to your way.
Okay, so is that Miss Tamika that said that?
Yes. Once we're done with him, then we'll open up to all our other comments and questions.
Okay, because this is not all right.
Do you have a 911 question?
No, ma'am. I'm going back on mute.
Okay.
No, it's cool, Mr. Durden, because I know you are in your own state of emergency. That's why I'm getting ready to head your way. And so I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right. Dr. Osiris, do you have a schedule on when the next appointments are going to be for those who want to take the tour?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I do not have it right now, but you can rest assured tomorrow by COB, you will have it in your email.
Can I get those of you who could do day or evening tours to put that in the chat so we can start trying to coordinate? Do we need more day or more evening appointments?
Ms. Mapp, would you and your board be amenable to go down there and look at this operational center?
Yes.
Just again, we'll talk offline. As I just think that it is rather important. Seems that all of this came about with fun.
I can speak for myself. I cannot at this time speak for the board, but I can speak for myself, depending on the day and time.
Oh, I understand, but I'm talking about as a collective. And so as the entire HOA roundtable, I think that it is key that they understand that. So,
Yeah.
but for the next 3 weeks, we'll do, but for, and we'll do that as we'll talk about that on the HOA roundtable, but
Okay.
it's just that important, right? So, cause, right.
You know, if it's not as an HOA, I'm sure there will be some of our neighbors within the community that would be interested in going.
Hey,
And-
absolutely. That's why it's open up for the next 4 weeks. Dr. Osiris is going to give us the rest of those dates, and please fill it up. As they're available anytime you call them, and they're real amenable. And you actually get to listen in on some calls. You get to see it, right? You get to see it firsthand. This bottom line is, it's very interesting, and
It
so
may
you
be
learn a lot.
easier for evening appointments.
Put it in the chat. So we got a general idea of which way people need us to schedule. Dr. Osiris, can you let us know what the requirements are for, I know you said that you are recruiting for more people to work there. Can you tell us what the requirements are and how that process works?
Yes, I sure can. So our hiring, all you have to do, and we actually have some postings up now. If you go to the Fulton County government website, if you go to jobs, that will lead you to an external site. And from that external site, it'll give you all of our listings. You'll be looking for E911 communications officer, and there'll be some officer 1, 2, 3, 2 and 3 level employment. Comes with experience. Level 1 has no experience. 21 years of age, no felonies, no record, should I say? Forgive me, no felonies, but no record. 21 years of age, you do not have to have a degree. There is a typing test you have to take. You have to take a polygraph test, and you have to take a drug screening. But besides that, we're actively hiring for operator 1, operator 2, operator 3s. Again, if there's if there's a history in the industry. And training process is 10 to 12 weeks. We teach you all kinds of signals, how to talk on the phone, how to talk on the radio, how to use the computer system, all that kind of stuff. I can say this, very exciting job. I started back in 2009. I was fresh out of college. Well, not fresh out of college. I had been home from school about 4 years. I went to Tennessee State University from undergrad, so I graduated, came back home. I was living at home. My mother worked for the county. She was desperately trying to get me out of her house. She went to every single department within the county, to their director. My son needs a job. It ended up being 911. I've been there since. I've been there since 2009, and I've worked through every single operational position. So I've been a call taker. I've been a dispatcher. I've been a training officer. I've been assistant supervisor, a supervisor. I've been a watch commander. I've been the division chief over operations, and now I'm the division chief over training. So there are growth opportunities. As I was telling you earlier, we have a class in right now. I've got a class of dispatchers and some call takers in training right now. They'll be doing live calls, so if you call in, hopefully nobody has to call in at any time, call 911, but if you do, and the operator seems a little timid, please be patient if possible. I know sometimes emergencies don't allow you guys to be patient, but if at all, be a little bit patient because we are training some people to get in and take those calls professionally. I do want to say again, if there's ever an issue, and I told the councilman this, one thing that I do not play is customer service issues. You guys call in, you guys pay taxes, you guys are at emergencies. Our team is inside of a room. We're comfortable. We got chairs, leather chairs. Yes, leather chairs. No, I'm messing with you. We got chairs. We got cable TV. They got air conditioning. They got everything. You guys are in your emergency. So if there is a customer service issue, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Now, I will say this as well. Sometimes the issue that you may deem as a customer service issue, once we look into it, may not end up that way. But one thing I can guarantee you is that we will respond back to you post-haste, and we will let you know exactly what happened. Something else that people may not know is every time you call 911, it is open records. You can have a copy of that call if you want it. there's a small fee, maybe I think $10 or something like that, but you can get an audio copy and a hard copy of the incident that we put into our computer system. Those are open records, and you can get that information as well. But just be mindful of the fact that we are training. We got some people coming in so that hopefully they can get to those calls a little bit quicker. But anyway, so we are hiring. We actively hire. Fulton County government website, jobs, and if not for 911, look at the website either way, because there's always postings. If you're looking to do something different or looking to move up or know somebody looking for a job, tell them make sure they look on the Fulton County government website as well.
Next question. In a previous conversation, there was a mention of, can you say, like, from our perspective, when we call 911, what are some of the things that we need to know when we call you that would be helpful?
Okay, the first thing that we need to know is your location. That is the first primary thing we need to know. Everything else after that, and I mean everything else after that, is secondary. It may be a close secondary, but it's secondary. And I'll tell you why. Because if we have your location, regardless of what else is going on, we can get somebody to you. All right, if we have your location, we can get somebody to you. Secondly, phone number. All right, make sure there's a good phone number. I always tell my girlfriend when she's leaving, make sure you got a charge on your phone, right? Because that's a safety thing. Having a charge on your phone is a safety thing. Make sure you got a charge on your phone because calls do get dropped, right? We're living in that digital age. Some cell service providers are better than others, as we all know. So cell phone calls do get dropped. So knowing that you have a good charge on that battery is a good feeling for safety purposes. Now, when you call in, we can call you back, but if you've got a dead battery, there's nothing we can do about that, right? So making sure that you've got a charge on those cell phones is of paramount importance for safety. So after that address and that phone number, we're going to ask you, tell me exactly what happened. And what we need to know is what is happening right now. We don't need to know what led up to it. We don't need to know what Uncle Joe thinks about what we should be doing. We just need to know what is going on right now. That will speed up that process, get that call process a lot quicker so that help can get there, whatever type of help it is. So we need to know exactly what's going on right now. Something else that I always tell people is be more observant, right? Be more observant. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to people. In another company that I have, I teach firearm safety. One thing we teach you how to do is to assess a possible threat or any threat that may come your way, right? So be able to be very observant. Look at what somebody's wearing. Make sure we looking at shirts. What color is the shirt? You'll hear us ask that all the time. What color was her pants, right? What color shoes did they have on? Because see, if somebody's out and about, coming out of their shoes and running around, without shoes on, something that a lot of people won't do. So these are things that we're looking for. So be observant. Pay attention to your surroundings. Make sure you know what's going on. If you're in an unfamiliar area, this is not for Fulton County 911, this is for all 911. If you're not in a familiar area, make sure you're paying attention to the streets you're crossing, okay? Because you may not know the address where you are offhand, but you can say, oh, I just passed Water Street, right? Or whatever street it was. So pay attention to landmarks around you. Pay attention to those things. Well, it's a school on my left. Marta Station was about a quarter mile back. These types of things definitely help. If you're on a highway, and I know they have them, if you're on a highway, the last thing that we want to hear is what mile marker you're at, okay? Now, it may help, but that's the last thing we want to hear. We want to hear what was the last exit you passed. What exit are you going to? Are you in between two exits? What do you see around you, right? Because if you can see apartments from the highway, then that may be a signal to units to exactly where you are. So be aware of what surroundings you are. What else? Pay attention to what's going on around you. I think I just said that, but I can't say that enough. Pay attention to what's going on around you, okay? Those are the types of things that we need, but we need clear, concise information. Clear, concise information, very, very, very descriptive types of information. And, understand that everything is predicated on time, especially when we have medical emergencies, when we have emergencies like we had the other day. These types of things are predicated on time. So the quicker we can get the information from the caller, the quicker we can get those calls processed, right? The flip side of that is the quality of the information that we get from callers is even more important, okay? So we need good quality observant information.
Absolutely, sir. And so let me just tell y'all this is I did this too before I went down to the center. As I literally had no other reason to see this movie, but I did watch this thing called The Call with Holly Berry. I'd never seen it before in my life. But
Don't ever watch it.
Huh?
I said, don't ever watch that again.
Get this. No, exactly. So, but I just say they make these movies that mystify the folks, and I was just like, this is absolutely not. It's Hollywood, right? And so,
yep.
Because I've never seen it, but right. Well, the actress in it is great, but at the end of the day, just to do my own little comparison type deal is like absolutely very different. And so, and you get to hop on the call. And if they have one of the things I like about what they added to an upgrade is they have a decompression room. So if they have a hard call, they actually have a place where they can go get their mindset back right. So yeah, so that does a lot. I think that's an added benefit too. So to what he says, that they have everything that they need, and they should not be having any other issue but what's on the other end of that call, and to handle it appropriately. So any more questions? Any more questions for Dr. Osiris Carter?
I know I've said a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's truly like drinking from a fire hose. So I'm not able to get into the chat. I'm sorry, but I'll text it to you, Tamiko. I'll text you that stuff, and maybe you can put it out. But I'll give it out right now. My desk phone number, if anybody has a pen, my desk phone number is area code 404 612 1381. Area code 404 612 1381. My email, and I'll spell it because Osiris is one of those names. I'll spell it for you. It's going to be OSIRIS OSIRI, my first name, dot Carter, common spelling, CARTER, at Fulton County, GA. All of that is one word. At Fulton County, GA.gov. So that's Osiris.Carter at Fulton County, GA.gov. Listen, you guys pay taxes. You guys live in your neighborhoods. You pay for your homes just like I pay for mine. And you deserve safety. You deserve service, and you deserve safety. And if the conduit of that safety, being our department, isn't doing what we need to be doing, then we need to know about it. So please don't hesitate in reaching out to me or anybody on our team. You can just dial 911 if you didn't get that information. But so please don't hesitate to reach out to anybody on our team if there are issues with their services. We're here to serve you guys. We're here to make sure that we get those services out as quick as we possibly can. Like I said a little bit earlier, sometimes the issue is not with 911, but you can rest assured that we will help you get to the bottom of the issue as much as we possibly can from our perspective. So that's 404-612-1381, Osiris.Carter at FultonCountyGA.gov. Like the old saying says, if you see something, say something, right? So if something is wrong, you got to say something so we can fix it, guys. We got to be able to fix it together. But if you guys don't have anything else for me, I'll let you go.
Dr. Osiris Carter. I want to personally extend and thank you, sir, as much gratitude as you taking time out of your day and coming in and this much needed conversation. And I appreciate you, sir.
That's not a problem. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys as well. And again, just let me know, and I'll say it again, 404-612-1381, osiris.carter@fultoncountyga.gov. So you guys, just if something comes up, let me know so we can get to the bottom of it. Just like we had this May 5th situation, I don't want to let it linger. I want to get to the bottom of it so we can improve the services and move on. So you guys let me know. Have a blessed day. Everybody stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, sir. No problem.
We also had an upcoming veterans event for next Monday. And so Miss Noble wanted to invite the community out. And so I'm gonna let her tell everybody.
Thank you, Tamiko. I definitely have a newfound appreciation for 911. As Tamiko mentioned, there is an event happening. It's going to be at the airport Hilton. And it's going to be honoring our veterans that sacrifice their families, their time, just such as anyone of service, our police officers, they always put themselves before someone else. So our veterans have done that same thing. And so the mission is to get them into housing, which reduces the homelessness and things like that. And just getting the word out and putting them in safe places and, being passionate about this faith-based mission that we're doing to champion them to be homeowners, get them reacclimated back into the workforce, working on some of their mental health issues so they can stay the good citizens they once were. So this event is going to be held Monday, May 30th at 11. It's going to be at the Hilton Atlanta Airport. I did share a flyer in the chat. I can resend it out so it's fresh so you can look at it. Just you can make a contribution. There are some seats that's available at no cost. If somebody's interested in attending, just let Tamiko know and she'll let me know and I can make sure I hold a seat for you. But it's definitely be impactful, full of information for anyone that's willing to attend.
You mind if I add to it?
That's all I got. Anybody have any?
So let me just say this. Who is this event put on by?
So the event is put on by PDI Faith-Based Initiative Veteran Repair. So this organization is ran by a man named Dr. Paul, and he's a veteran himself. And he put this together and he partnered with a lot of dignitaries and leaders in the communities to bring housing back into our communities for our veterans. Through HUD and through grants and things like that. I think I spoke to the mayor today, his office. I believe he's going to be in attendance. Some other community leaders as well, just going to be in attendance to support the call.
Right now, PBI is an acronym for what?
You mind? I'm on the line as well. Could I say?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Paul.
Yes, sir. How you doing? My name is William Paul, or Dr. Paul, formerly of Fulton County Office of Economic Development. I was the manager and also over Fulton County, dealing with the 9 municipalities. Also the governor's office, planning and budget, management review, and fortunate enough to be the first African-American to work in that area, and Georgia Department of Industry and Trade and Economic Development. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and we have the largest Black-owned real estate firm in the United States. I'm relocated in South Fulton myself, used to write for The Sun and many more. But again, we brought in billions of dollars into the state of Georgia. So we're coming back now working with the veterans. We're trained to kill, but not trained to live. So I have some outstanding guests from Washington, from all over coming in. I went ahead and got the Hilton Hotel, it'll be on the 30th. And the following day, I have one of my colleagues who is a double Purple Heart. We're tired of seeing the veterans on the streets of America. We go and kill and save and give us freedom, but we can't take care of them. I got tired when I was in Fulton County, seeing them on the street so much. But we're going to HUD and get these homes through the 501c3 tax exempt organization direct sale to nonprofit, and put these veterans back in home, get them off the streets. And that's the least that we can do. As a Vietnam veteran, I've been working in this field over 40 years, setting up 501c3 from Clifford Dollars and many more, we're number one in the country. I'm putting my resources back in, getting veterans and homeless people off the streets of America. Over 40 million folks are being kicked out of their homes because of the pandemic, but we need to stand up and do God's will and provide housing. So with that, I own real estate companies, even here in the state of Georgia, and I have them all the way to California, to the Virgin Islands, all the way to the areas of Hawaii. But we're cleaning up America by standing up as veterans and also war heroes coming back to come back and provide solution to American problems. So I would love to meet you. I'm on the shop side. I got an office over in Buckhead and over there in Roswell, and I was living over there, and I decided to come on back because I used to live in Peachtree City with a medical practice there. But we're now here in the county and here to do some work, and plus as a launch pad, doing it throughout America. So we'll be honored to have you there. Marvin Arrington, remember those guys, Pitts, all those guys when I was there working in the city and in the county and also in the state. So we did a lot of work providing economic solutions to our problem instead of just talk.
Absolutely, sir. And one of the things is I think everybody appreciates our veterans. And as we're getting ready to come up on Memorial Day, we certainly remember those who gave it all. And this is, to me, it's just our duty to assist wherever we can. So whoever's on this call who specializes in housing and has that subject matter expertise and who knows how to help this brother, reach out. And because, STOP means a new acronym, stand together on purpose, as we're going to get everywhere with collaboration. And as we all believe in it, let's put our mindsets and our skill sets to the test and just help the veterans out. Get this, in any which way that you can, and whatever time that you have available, that you can give 5 minutes, an hour, or whatever. But if you bring that subject matter expertise can help advance this program, please, by all means, reach out to them, collaborate with them. And now let's go get it done. Because you absolutely right, sir, is housing is under attack. Veteran housing, senior housing, and get this, there's situations right now that's going on because everything is going to market rate. So my subject matter experts, please reach out and help him, as I do know that you can just offer your subject matter expertise to help advance this agenda. Because what's that rate of suicide that veterans have every day? Was it like 22?
Mental health is mental health. Mental health is definitely high amongst veterans. And you can only imagine what they witness when they're out serving and protecting. So definitely. I did add the flyer back in as a refresher in the chat room, which has some information about the May 30th event that Dr. Paul is going to be one of the keynote speakers. And he is definitely responsible for putting everything together. Again, I refreshed that in the chat, and Tamiko also has information about it as well.
Right, and is this in partnership with the church?
We partner with all community relationships. Dr. Paul definitely partners with our congregation, but it's not church related, but we are faith-based in everything that we do. So it's this cause as well.
No, I'm aware of that.
Oh, okay.
But the name of that church is what?
Pleasant Word.
Now get this. What else does Pleasant Word do every week?
We do a food pantry every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Yeah.
You can go by, if anybody knows it, is that I'm gonna just say this, between Pleasant Word and First Missionary Baptist Church, to feed over 500 families in this area. Over 500.
Yeah.
And so a week. And so that's why we don't really do food drives, because we have a source from the resource that I am put here as our establishment cornerstones, and doing facilitating, getting it fresh, and they do it every week without fail. And so for the community. And so we don't have to do things that the community, let me be very clear, is already doing. We're just here to spread that word and to help them keep doing what they're doing and deepen their footprint. And so if you know anybody who needs, please feel free. And we're going to be working on that senior delivery too. So the ones who are mobile limited, they also do it. And so cornerstones are doing the work. And so we're here to help them do all they can. And so we have a lot of subject matter experts here who has some great minds in their former, jobs. I know everybody don't want a job and this and that and third, but this is building our community, and we are in the building phase. But we are not new. We are we are potty trained and we can feed ourselves. So it's time to grow up. And so and get this, we can't do it without you. That's just the bottom line. And so it's the people. Go ahead.
I was gonna say someone had a question. I don't know if it's for you or for me.
That's probably for you. But hey, go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I have my hand raised. Are you looking at me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you said you put the flyer for Monday's event in the chat. I can't see it. I just wanted to know the time.
The time is going to be at 11 a.m. I can put that in there so it's visible for you with the additional information.
And what type of event is it again? I know what it's for, but what type of event is it? Is it a luncheon or what is it?
It is a luncheon. Lunch will be served. It's an opportunity to get some education about resources. It's an opportunity to network with other leaders in the community. It's an opportunity for you to see how you can get involved and making a difference in your community. So it's definitely going to be very impactful. We actually say it's going to be a celebration to be able to honor our veterans on that particular day. And it's a day of service. So, but lunch will be served too at that same time.
Okay. Yeah. Being that it's Memorial Day, are the veterans dressed up, or I'm just trying to get more information?
Well, you're free to dress as please, but I'm sure most people are going to be in there, some red, white, and blue, some memorial attire, but we don't have a dress code. We do ask if you are concerned about COVID, follow those COVID guidelines. If you want to bring a mask, so on and so forth, but we don't have a dress code, but I'm sure most people are going to be dressed in honor of some colors, but we don't have a dress code.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Noble, could I throw out one other comment if you don't mind?
Nope. Please.
Okay, we're going to be giving Congressman 10 tickets free of charge, and you can give it to them and I'll pay for it. With that, we teach grant writing. We teach 501c3. We're #1 in the country where you can receive grants for substance abuse, child care, mental health. We turn the 501c3 around fast and quick where we go out in the community and restore it from the public and the private sector. Too many people out there, trillions of dollars available in grants, but we're not going after them because we don't know how to write them. So we teach proposal writing. So it's not grant writing, it's proposal writing to ascertain a grant. We want to educate our people where we can move forward and gain economic opportunities. So again, we can have the food banks, clothing banks, and get the Kroger's and many others with perishable, non-perishable item with the 501c3 to receive that food without paying a dime. We can go to the city, county, different city BG, and many other grants that are available to you to resolve the problem. Called money is what we need to resolve these problems. So we have a whole list of it, and we have the largest nonprofit 501c3, the only one in the United States that is licensed real estate firm with brokers, salespeople, and also we have the 501c3 where we can get $1 homes from the city, from the federal government, and others. So we have expertise in various areas and people from all over the United States that chime in to resolve American problem, community by community. But the key to it all is the 501c3. LLCs can become 501c3. If you have a 501c3, councilman, you can resolve the problem, the tension, and all the other problems will drop at least about 80% because the community will be involved because they have the vehicle to go out and receive grants to pay the bill. As Ecclesiastes says, money answers all things. God going to give you the power to get wealth. But we have to have that 501c3, or you're not going to get a dime from the county, from the city, from the federal government, or the private sector. Last thing, 85% of all the grants is from the private sector, from Coca-Cola, Chick-fil-A. We need to know where the funds are located, then we can support our programs. I just want to give you that. We're more diversified and have chapters all over America to help America to regain its prosperity amongst our communities.
Doctor, let me just chime in real quick, because you're 100% absolutely correct. As the public-private nonprofit partnerships is, I actually have a nonprofit cohort, and that is directly related because that serve this community and to receive the funding. But like I said, we're here to expand their footprint on the service that they already are doing. So right now they're undergoing the certified audits. And so to talk about what the big corporations is, they're getting ready to start their planning for next year's funding in approximately 2 months. And so you are absolutely what we would definitely need, because I tell people all the time, it is a nonprofit, but it is the business of a nonprofit. And understand it still is a business. You just don't earn a profit, but you still operate it like that. And that's to receive the maximum that you can receive, and getting those certified audits and getting the understanding that process. As I would like you to be the guest speaker at the next nonprofit roundtable cohort meeting.
I'll be honored.
As we do look to expand, as we do look to this, as to empower the nonprofits in our communities who actually get the things done in our communities for our communities. Like you just said, that dollar program. I mean, it was very instrumental. Baltimore, Detroit, they had them all over. Very successful model. But we'll have a deeper dive in the conversation with that as, yeah.
Just one thing to add to you. People just got the wrong interpretation. You know, nonprofit and profit. I always said terminology and phraseology. When Paul was speaking to Romans, he would speak their language. You can say the sun doesn't shine on the same dog back in all the time, but then you have to change it with certain people who say the solar disk does not shine on the identical keynotes posterior for a indefinite period of time. We said the same thing, but we need to know terminology and phraseology. So with that said, the 501c3 issue key, because every agency from Chick-fil-A, everyone wants you to have that letter of determination. Then we need to know about goals, objective, methodology, desired results, and most importantly, in-kind contribution. But this is going to knock your socks off. Nonprofit and profit. In profit, you call it profit and loss, nonprofit surplus and deficit. They mean the same. Look at this. The coach over there in Alabama, University of Alabama, Grady Hospital, Piedmont Hospital, Emory, all those nonprofit. Now with that, the CEOs, especially of the small division, make $9 million with the football team. The University of Alabama is a 501c3, and that person, the coach, worked for that nonprofit. He get $9 million. So there's no limit. It's based on your ability. Last thing, the largest corporation in the world is a nonprofit. The guy lives in public housing. You know his name, Congressman? Joe Biden, the president of the United States of America, is nonprofit. The city is nonprofit. The county is nonprofit. We got this thing all backwards. We need to understand what is a nonprofit. And guess what? LLC, although it's have single taxation, go to IRS and publication 1023, and also application, fill that out, page 2, and become a tax exempt, able to get contribution, exempt from taxes, and also receive donation. You must have that to receive those funds. 501c3 is your answer. I'll stop it at that moment. I thank you very much, sir.
Doctor, check this out. You're about to have a whole platform getting ready to preach this as we're going to go into that series. To get ready to dial it up, because as we were talking, because see, it is a Dr. Digest. I understand exactly what you're talking about. And it's called their corporate responsibility. And understand that we got five Fortune 100 companies that surround the 5th area. Let's just understand that I understand exactly what you're saying, but I'm just a person who connects the dots. As you're the subject matter expert, and I want you to just have an educational course, because we perish from a lack of knowledge. And so, but you have knowledge, and so get this knowledge applied. I tell you, just imagine that. So, but we're gonna give you a platform to do it. But I want to just know, because right now we are 30 days. This is May Day, E911, no safety, no accidents. We will have another call Thursday, as they said it was short time. So we're gonna keep going at it and come to a resolve.
I know we're getting ready to close up, but Jane has a question.
Yes, Miss Jane, vote Jane Williams.
Oh,
voting Jane.
hey, everybody.
Where's my
Hey, I
sister?
just want to remind everyone, if you did not get an opportunity to vote during early voting, tomorrow is the day. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., okay?
Awesome.
That's it. That's all I got. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you for having myself and Dr. Paul. I did tag his email to his website if anybody wants some additional information about the resources that's available to you. It's in that chat.
We will be
so
having
much.
Mondays and Wednesdays for the next 3 weeks.
I
So
know I'll
we'll
be
send you a
on
reminder.
because this is so interesting and fascinating. Some news I didn't know about 911 and dogs and stuff. So yeah, it's exciting.
Oh, right, because get this, animal control is next. Because we have, get this. So you know how many people got mauled by dogs in the last 3 weeks? Let's just understand that is an emergency, because get this, that's serious business, because now you got to rabies shots and everything else, and you can actually be taken out of your normal day-to-day and disrupted. And so that comes at a cost. So yes. What is all these times? As so
7:45.
It is 7:45. Let's just say this. Mayday, E911, no safety, no accidents. And we're going to drive it home for the next 30 days, as this is issue number one, priority number one, because you can't do anything unless you feel safe. So thank each and every one of you for bringing light to the situation. And thank each and every one of you taking time out of your day to join this call. And let's take this journey together, because we can't stop believing, as I really want to go out with that song as well. But I'm just saying, just listen to the lyrics and y'all don't understand. But get this, I love you and you can't do nothing about it. Have a good rest of your evening. And whoever's frying up chicken, let me know, because I want a 6-piece. Fresh hot. Good day.
See you Thursday for those of you that can join. Same bat time, same bat channel.